Good afternoon, Badass Artists. I'm Mia Luyando. Today we are working again in Dragonfly Dreams, and we are going to work on a few things with this little fairy. We're going to work on her skin with some markers. These are alcohol markers by Hangfan. We're also going to use some Enmy acrylic markers. We're going to also work on these little poofy flowers here. We'll just see where our time takes us, see how far along we get, and enjoy the process. So I am going to get started with her skin. I am using, from the Hangfan markers, I'm using number 326. It's called Baby Skin Pink, and it is kind of a brownish pink. I'm going to just fill in her little ear area over here. I'm famous for leaving out ears or hands or feet. You guys know how I do. We're going to just jump right in. This will dry fairly quickly. While I am filling this in, you guys get comfortable. Pull up a chair, grab a snack, grab something to drink, get some coffee or some tea, grab a cocktail. I'm sure it's 5 o'clock somewhere. We are just going to fill in her flesh tone here. And as you can see, it's a pretty, it's kind of a light to medium tan color. I'm going to give her a little bit of a suntan. We're not going to make her quite so light as we have the others. And just go in, making some small circles. Avoid the streaking. Now, alcohol markers are notorious for streaking, so just do the best you can. Remember, you can always go in with pencils afterwards and kind of smooth that out. So if you do get some streaking, don't worry. It happens to all of us. It's just part of it. Remember when you're using your alcohol marker to put something protective behind the page, because it will bleed through. And when you're using acrylic markers, they don't bleed through. I don't know why, don't know what the difference is, but there is one. We're gonna go ahead and get her little skin tone in here nice and quick. And I think that's everything. I don't see any extra fingers or ears or anything that I've left out. So we're good there. Put this one away. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, I think I'm gonna use some Faber Castell Black Edition pencils to work on the flowers. And to get these dandelions looking kind of, give them some depth and to make them sort of poofy looking, I'm going to take this darker yellow. Now these are the Faber Castell, they're Black Edition. I will put the link in the description below. This is number 701. I'm going to zoom in and I'll move over so that you can see. Down towards the bottom, we're going to add just little scratch marks of this darker yellow. We're adding depth is what we're doing. We're going to make it look like it's big and poofy and give it a lot of I'm gonna make it look, give it kind of the optical illusion like it's jumping off the page for us. I'm gonna do the same thing with these little ones. We're not gonna go into a lot of detail on those, but we do want to get the suggestion of the color in there. We're going to do the same thing with these over here. Oh, I jump every time. It never fails. But I do like my pencils sharpened nice and to a super sharp point. I just get a little overzealous and press too hard. Remember, you're not doing anything fancy, you're just doing these little scratch marks on the lowest point of the dandelion. From there, I'm going to get a lighter yellow, and it doesn't. You don't have to be using the black edition. Any pencil set that you're using will be just fine. Just grab one that's kind of similar. This one is number 725. I'm going to go back over to this side. We're going to use this lighter yellow to work our way up. And we're not going to take it all the way to the edge, but pretty close. We want those edges on the top to look white, like they're getting ready to fly away. You know how when you blow on a dandelion, all those little pieces of the dandelion go flying away. And we're just going to kind of leave it like in that spot. We want it to kind of look like it's right in between being pretty bright and yellow and ready to shed and go flying through the air. I'm just making lines. Like I said, it's nothing fancy. We're letting our grayscale kind of work for us under there. And we're leaving the tips white. Now I'm going to choose a green, kind of a spring green color. Let's see, that's not the one I want. I'm going to use this color 710. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. I'm going to use that on the stems. And don't be afraid to go right over that darker grayscale. These pencils are made to work on black paper and darker colors, so they're going to show up. I'm going to color this blade of grass here. Just going to kind of make our foreground full of botanical looking grasses. And they're all over. I didn't go wild with the yellow. I wanted the focal point to be, right here on the ones in the foreground. We're going to do the same on this side. And these are just blades of grass that are poking up. She's standing in a little meadow. And it's kind of foggy in the background, so we're not trying to do a lot of bright colors. Let me back up a little bit so you can see. We're not trying to do a lot of bright colors in the background because we want to keep that misty, foggy look. And I'm gonna just sort of randomly place this green color around. Now, while we are, I should have done the little flowers on her hat. Let's do that real quick. And I will probably just leave these with the darkest yellow. And the same, I'm just going to add this green, sort of botanical, little wild grasses and whatnot. Now, my idea in the beginning was to do the background with the acrylic markers, but I'm not too disappointed with the way it looks right now because I do want it to look kind of gray and foggy and misty. Let me see what I've got over here. I think I'm going to take, now the Enemy markers don't have names or numbers on them, so you just kind of have to use them by eyeballing them. It's kind of a Wedgwood blue, and I'm going to add this blue color around the foreground where the fog is. If you want to do this before you go in and do the details on the flowers, absolutely. I kind of did this a little backwards. And just kind of lay that smoky blue color down. You can also do your background with pan pastels. You can do them with Caran d'Ache Neo colors, with some watercolor, or you know, you can use your regular pencil. But we definitely want to keep that foggy, misty theme going here. And as the marker dries, you will be able to see the grayscale and the details through it. It's a thicker ink, but you can still see through it. You don't have to take it all the way down to the bottom where it's the darkest. Let me make sure I'm in the frame here. Just gonna work our way around her little hat. Remember, you can use your pencils right over top of these markers. So if you kind of get some ink on your pencil, don't worry, you can go back over it. And I think since we've got this color going, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the background with it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Your eye fills in a lot. If you miss a little spot here or there, your eye really overlooks it. It really fills in more than you realize. Just going to work our way around her hat. Unclip her so I can get the top. I've really enjoyed these markers. They're nice and juicy. They go on smoothly. They blend well. They accept pencil over top of them. Once they're dry, they accept the pencil. They play nice with other products, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They are not very expensive. I will put a link to them in the description below if you're interested in trying them out. It's a large set. You get, let me see, how many do you get? 80. You get 80 different colors. And it's a nice, well-rounded set. You get, there's a really nice red in there. There's some really good blues and greens. little wet. It won't take long to dry. You can see how the page wants to curl up a little on me where it's kind of damp. I'm gonna put the clip back on just to keep it secure and in place. So now that we have the flowers and we have the background, let's go ahead and work on her. We can work on her eyes. Let's make her eyes green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a darker green. This one is number 742. And I'm going to zoom in really close so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go around the outside of her eye. I'm just making little marks all the way around the colored part, the iris part. I'm not making it a solid line, just little flicks, almost like we're doing eyelashes. Now I'm going to take more of a spring green. This one is number 744. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just kind of go right in there next to the first color. Now I'm going to take a brown color. This set doesn't have a great selection of browns. I'm going to take kind of a terracotta. This is number 711. And I'm going to go up to the pupil. And from the pupil, I'm going to go out towards the outer area of her iris. I'm just going to kind of pull in the opposite direction. Last but not least, I like to put a little bit of blue in green eyes. It just gives them a little bit of reflection. We've got a lot of blue around her. I'm just randomly placing that blue. I'm not really filling in a lot. I'm just kind of putting it here and there. Now let's choose some pink or peach for her little lips. This is number 732. And we're just going to lightly fill in her lip area. And while we're at it, we're just going to very lightly give her some blush. And you can see how easily the pencil goes right over that Hangfan marker. And it just warms her skin up a little bit. And we're going to do that on both sides. You don't have to do a lot, just a little bit. Give her a little color on the tip of her nose, some on her chin. We'll add some on her shoulder. Just a touch of color. It gives it more realism. Now I'm going to back out a little bit. And I'm going to go back over to our markers because I wanted to make her dress purple, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure if that's what I still want to do. Yeah, let's stick with some shades of purple. So I'm going to go back over to the Enmy the Enmy Markers. This is just sort of a medium purple. And I'm going to fill in her dress ever so lightly. The grayscale will really show through, so you don't have to worry about as many details. Now you can go in with your pencil and really work a lot of details in if you choose to. If you're you're really wanting to make this dress a detailed ordeal. I'm just giving it a light dash of color. And I'm going to do the same with the kind of the under. That really wanted to curl on me. I'm going to do the same with her hat. And like I said, you don't have to touch every single piece. You just sort of work this in. Now, of course, you can make these any color that you like. And don't worry if you miss a spot here or there. It just looks like the texture of the hat. I'm going to take a darker, kind of a more of a fuchsia color. I'm going to go in and add just a few little shadowy parts here and there, give it some contrast. And these blend and build very nicely together. They'll go right over top of each other. You can do the same thing with the dress. I think we're gonna make our little butterflies like a pale luminous green. And I'm gonna also make her hair green, and I'm gonna use the marker for that too. Of course, you can go back in with your pencils, your rainbow pencils. You can go in and use, 2 or 3 different colors of markers. We're just gonna give that little hair that's peeking out some green color to match her eyes. Add a few more blades of grass. And there we have our picture from beginning to end, and it only took us about 30 minutes. You can get a lot done with markers. It's a quicker way to color. So if you're looking for a quick project, you don't want to spend hours and hours with your pencils, you just want to do something quick, you don't have a lot of time, you're pressed for time, definitely using markers is a quicker way to do it. I think we'll work with some paint this week as well. So if you have some watercolors or some neo colors or some watercolor pencils, go ahead and pull those out. We'll be using those this week. This was just a quick example of how quickly you can color a piece, a picture in your book using mostly markers, and how pretty that it can turn out. You saw how, we didn't overthink the background, and you can see, even though we didn't color every single speck of the background, it just looks like it's supposed to be there. It just lends the depth. You're kind of looking back into the forest, and the little spots, the little streaks are just, it's like foliage. It's just different sticks and twigs that are growing up behind her, and she's just standing there. So you don't have to, really obsess over getting every single spot. Let the grayscale work for you. It really saves you a lot of time if you're not wanting to, put hours and hours into the picture. Sometimes you want to, and sometimes you don't. That's totally up to you. But we are already at about 33 minutes, I think. We are a little longer than normal. I hope that you enjoyed this. If it was helpful, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. It helps us reach more artists out there who are looking for channels like these. They're looking for tips and tricks on how to color more realistically and become a badass artist too. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I definitely hope that you will do so. That way you'll always know when I upload a new video. Hope you had a great weekend. I will see you next time.